Hello everyone, welcome to the Cinema Analysis channel. I am Juzo. This channel will explore the hidden truths of films that are not usually revealed. Today I'd like to talk about Drive My Car. What this film was trying to say, the difference between the original novel and the film, the similarities between the director's method and the film's theme, what you should focus on to enjoy this film. I would like to talk about things like that. If you haven't seen the film yet, I suggest you watch it before watching this video. So let's get started. So did you see the film? Did you feel that 3 hours were long? The original story, written by Haruki Murakami, is less than 40 pages long. The reason it became 3 hours is because the other stories are incorporated into the script. These are Scheherazade and Kino by the same author Haruki Murakami and Chekhov's Uncle Vanya. These stories have been reworked so that they are connected, and the screenwriter's ideas have also been added. The film is directed by Ryusuke Hamaguchi, and the script was written by Ryusuke Hamaguchi and Takamasa Oe. The mysterious footage shown at the beginning of the film draws the audience into the world of the story. The protagonist, Kafuku, and his wife, Oto, engage in a theatrical exchange during sexual intercourse. No one can have seen such an abnormal scene. This woman is a screenwriter. Her way to create is to have a sexual relationship and make the thing that arose in her mind the story. Oto cannot remember what she did during the relationship. Then Kafuku makes it into a sentence with her later. This is the way she makes up her stories. Oto is like a medium. During their sexual relationship, the god of creation comes down to her. This part is based on Scheherazade, the short story by Haruki Murakami. Scheherazade is an illusionistic and strange story. Habara, the protagonist, was sent to the house in a local city in the northern Kanto region, and he began to have intercourse with a woman who was his liaison. He called her Scheherazade. There's no explanation as to why he was sent to the house and why the woman is having intercourse with him. Havala listened to Scheherazade's story about her real-life experiences when she was a high school student. She said that she had broken into the house of a male classmate whom she adored. She said that she stole inconspicuous items, such as pencils, and exchanged them for her own possessions. It is the story of how such abnormal behavior escalates. At the beginning of the film, Kafuku witnessed his wife's infidelity. Although he went out to work, he returned home when the schedule changed. There she was having an affair with another man. He couldn't see the man's face. Kafuku left the house quietly. The wife doesn't seem to have noticed that her husband has come home, and Kafuku continues to hide the fact that he knows about his wife's infidelity. Also, in the original story, the wife doesn't know that her husband knows about her infidelity, but the film seems to be different from the original story. It is possible that the wife knows that her husband knows about her infidelity. The protagonist was shocked after witnessing his wife's infidelity and quietly left the house. He closed the door quietly. No sound was heard at the time. If the door is an automatic lock, there must have been a sound. The door doesn't seem to be an automatic lock, and Kafuku didn't lock the door after closing it. He unlocked the door when he came in, but didn't lock it when he left. Oto locked the door after letting the cheating partner into the house, but the door was unlocked. She doesn't seem to be an insensitive woman who didn't notice. It is possible that the cheating partner noticed it before she did. The wife knew that her husband continued to hide the fact that he knew about his wife's infidelity. Watching the film with this mind, the other view could be seen. He was hiding the fact that the flight had been postponed until the next day. Kafuku was staying at a hotel near Narita Airport. She then contacted him via video call. Kafuku changed the angle of his computer screen a little. It was probably to hide the fact that he was staying at the hotel in Japan. "Have you arrived safely?" his wife asked, and Kafuku lied, yes. His wife also asked him, "Did you eat Vladivostok specialties?" If he hadn't noticed that her husband had come home, that's normal communication. But she may have waited and watched, knowing that her infidelity was known to him. If so, her behavior is horrifying. The protagonist continues to pretend that he doesn't know about his wife's infidelity. One night, during their sexual relationship, she told him a story. The story of the schoolgirl in Scheherazade reached a climax. She knew that in her past life, she had been a lamprey. Her classmate's mother seems to have noticed that the house had been broken into and the key has been changed. She can't get into her classmate's room anymore. This is where the original Scheherazade ends. Although the story in the film is slightly different, that was the end of her story for the night. The next morning, Kafuku leaves the house. When he returned home, Otto was already dead from a subarachnoid hemorrhage. It's quite possible she could have been saved if he hadn't gone out. It was a huge emotional trauma. Kafuku continued to blame himself for killing his wife. Before Kafuku left the house, Otto said, "Can we talk a bit when you get back?" What did she want to talk about? It's impossible to know. Because Kafuku couldn't bear his wife's death, acting became a pain for him. 2 years later, Kafuku became a theater director. He was invited to the Hiroshima International Theater Festival. Although this part takes up most of the film, it doesn't exist in the original novel. Kafuku drives to Hiroshima in his Saab 900 Turbo. On the way, the names of the cast and crew are shown for the first time. At this point, about 40 minutes into the film, many people may not have noticed. It means that the direction and the expression was so skillful. At this point, the title of the film is not shown. It also has a meaning. When Kafuku arrived in Hiroshima, he was forbidden to drive by the secretariat, his employer. This was to avoid trouble caused by traffic accidents. They introduced him to the exclusive driver. This is the other protagonist, Misaki Watari. The reason she was hired as a driver in the original novel is because Kafuku suffers from glaucoma and has a blind spot in his vision. But the reason in the film has nothing to do with his glaucoma. However, his glaucoma is depicted in the film. He had a car accident while driving his Saab 900 Turbo. An eye examination at the time revealed that he had a glaucoma. The doctor said he wouldn't have to stop driving, but he would have to be careful. In the film, his eye condition has nothing to do with the hiring of the driver. Then why was the disease portrayed in the film? I'll talk about that later. And it is the most important factor in portraying the theme that both the original and the film have in common. Misaki Watari, the driver, drives very well. Kafuku liked it. Kafuku asks Misaki, "Where did you learn to drive?" She replied, "I grew up in the middle of the mountains in Hokkaido. I started driving in the middle of my teens. It's a place where you can't live without a car. Because the town was in the valley, there was not much sunshine. so the road was frozen for about half the year. You can't be a bad driver. This is the expression in the original novel. Not being too descriptive is excellent. In Japan, it has been decided that the age to get driving license is over 18. It is impossible to get a driving license in the middle of your teenage years. So it's obvious that she was driving without a license. This expression shows that she didn't grow up in a proper environment. It is later revealed that Misaki's mother died in a drunk driving accident. In the film, Kafka practices his lines by listening to the script of Uncle Vanya, read by his wife Otto in the car Misaki is driving. This is his daily routine. That's why he doesn't talk to Misaki. The two begin their private conversation halfway through the film, after they are invited to dinner by the Korean couple. As in the original, Kafuku asks her, "Where did you learn to drive?" She answers descriptively, "My mother taught me to drive. I started driving when I was a junior high school student. My mother was a nightclub worker. When I drove roughly and woke her up, she beat me." As in the original, Misaki's mother had already died. However, the reason is different. That will become important later. The program to be performed at the Hiroshima Theatre Festival was Uncle Vanya, which Kafuku had been performing for years. The audition for it begins. In the theatre festival, different actors from different nations perform in different languages. And the Uncle Vanya that Kafuku had played had the same style. The stage is created in a situation where communication is difficult. It is the necessary factor to convey the message that the film wants to convey. One of the actors who attended the audition was Takatsuki. He once played the role of the script that Otto wrote, and he was probably Otto's shading partner. And Kafuku gave him the role of Uncle Vanya, which Kafuku had played for years. So it becomes clear that Kafuku did not want to be an actor on stage. Why then did he continue rehearsing the lines while listening to the recording in the car? This contradictory action reveals Kafuku's problem. Kafuku told Takatsuki, "It's because I can't bear to reveal myself anymore, as Chekhov's text demands." This is a big clue. Kafuku, who had become a theater director, instructed the actors in his own way. The actors continued to read their lines from the script without emotion. Takatsuki can't help adding emotion, but Kafuku won't allow it. The lines have to be read aloud too many times until the lines come out of the actors without trying to remember them. This is where real emotion comes out of the actors. That is what is shown in the film. This method of directing is actually done by the director of the film, Ryusuke Hamaguchi. It is called the Hamaguchi method. The origin of this method is the one that had been done by Jean Renoir. He doesn't have the actors recite the lines. He has them read too many times. In the documentary Jean Renoir's Direction of Actors, Renoir says the following: "We will absolutely forbid ourselves any expression. When an actor tries to express himself at the first reading, the expression is usually a cliché or a routine or something shown on the screen or something already used. What I have to find for you is a mysterious marriage between you and the Emily who is in the lines." Renoir or Hamaguchi will have the actors read the lines thoroughly until the lines fill their bodies. No emotions should be added. The actors must not recite the lines. They have to announce the lines until they come out of the actors without trying to remember them. This idea seems too close to Bruce Lee's "Don't think, feel." Trying to recite the lines is the phase of thinking the lines with the head. It is more important to let them enter your body or subconscious mind than to interpret them with your head or conscious mind. Trying to interpret the goal with your head first means that you don't have enough posture to work deeply on the goal. There must be parts of the goal you are not aware of that you want to work on. However, many people tend to replace the goal with something they already know and feel that they have understood it. That doesn't achieve the deep understanding or expression. Bruce Lee would say, "It is like a finger pointing away to the moon." The method of the director Hamaguchi or Runo is to carry the character of the role inside you, rather than trying to understand it from the outside. Instead of trying to understand others, it is important to cherish the feeling that is born within you. That would be something that Hamaguchi or Runo would emphasize on. Kafuku has been invited to the bar by Takatsuki. Takatsuki asks Kafuku why he doesn't play the role of Vanya. Chekhov is terrifying. Reading his text out loud drags the true myself out of me. "I can't take it anymore," Kafuku says. Afterwards, the two continue their conversation in the car that Misaki is driving. Although they are just talking quietly, it is the most tense scene in the film. Kafuku has confessed Oto's infidelity to Takatsuki. Kafuku believes that Takatsuki was Oto's unfaithful partner. Takatsuki says that he had heard of the story of the high school girl who broke in from Oto. Kafuku said he already knew the story and told him the ending. But Takatsuki said that there was the rest of the story. It was strange and dark. Takatsuki didn't seem to be lying. Takatsuki knew the rest of the story that Kafuku knew. This in itself is shocking. She tells her partner the story that comes to her mind during intercourse. She doesn't remember it at the time her partner tells her, and she makes up the story. Probably she told the story during intercourse with Takatsuki and he told it to her later. But the important thing is that Kafuku was told the end of the story by Oto the night before she died.